Ms. Cheryl.
Mr. Speaker, I stand in support of the bill. When a friend of mine turned 40, she received a letter informing about the ElderShield scheme. She shared some thoughts that crossed her mind when she first saw the letter. Soon, CareShield Life scheme will be compulsory for those turning 30. I can imagine what many at that age will be thinking as they read the collaterals. Why the need for such scheme at this age? They are healthy, have an active income, and aging is certainly a distant concept for them. But what many fail to think of is health issues can take many forms and impact anyone regardless of age. In particular, when one suffers disabilities as a result of illness or become mentally incapacitated. The real challenge is what happens if one is not financially prepared or does not have the means to take care of themselves on the long term. This burden inevitably falls on the family and not on themselves. Take dementia as a classic example. Dementia does not impact only the elderly. One can be physically normal, not disabled, but simply fails to get about their daily activities once dementia sets in. I came across a resident who unfortunately suffered dementia at the age of 52. 52 years old in today's context is not old age, especially not so given the longer life expectancy. However, this resident who had dementia will have to depend on another person to manage his daily activities for the rest of his life. Having to care for him not only raised concerns about the cost of care in the long run, but also whom in the family would become the primary caregiver from then on. In other encounters with people who needed long-term care, it is those of children or youths who are born with physical disabilities or lack the mental capacity to care for themselves. Parents that I met with children of the special needs are genuinely concerned. Parents are worried that if they themselves grow older, physically and financially taking care of their children would become a significant task. It is a worry they grapple with constantly. What more can they do to have a peace of mind that their children will not be left to fend for themselves when they are unable to take care of them in the long run? Thus, I believe the CareShield Life and Long-Term Care Fund will play a pivotal role in bridging at least some aspects of this caregiving. While the bill provides details around the implementation and governance of the funds in the interest of the beneficiaries, I wish to raise a few areas for consideration and some questions for further clarification. First, for those who are automatically covered under CareShield Life from 2021 and onwards, is there a concurrent requirement for them to apply for the lasting power of attorney, LPA in short? Whilst the financial aspect of their caregiving may be taken care of through CareShield Life, but if they do not have an LPA in place, in the event that they become unable to make decisions for themselves, there presents a risk that their family members will have to fork out additional legal fees to act on their behalf. While Clause 16 provides option for the family members to act on their behalf if a donee or a deputy is not in place, but would it not be better if they have an LPA from the onset of joining the scheme? This will mean less likely a potential lapse in their coverage if the family is unable to afford the legal fees. Second, under Clause 6b, it specifies that for all Singaporeans and permanent residents born before 1980 who are not severely disabled before becoming citizens or PRs, they will automatically qualify for CareShield Life. I would like to ask if the Ministry can consider including coverage for all individuals in this age group who by birth have physical disability and or lack the mental capacity to function in their daily activities. This group of individuals in Singapore are not the bulk of the population. However, a universal insurance coverage of this nature will form a necessary and central support for them, and financially it is more manageable for their families. Earlier in the speech, Minister just mentioned about the long-term care fund that will provide access to their own MediSave or that of their spouses. But we should also be cognizant that these individuals may unlikely to have worked by their age, or they might not even have sufficient funds in their CPF to have this coverage, and much less for them to even have a spouse or a spouse who have that fund to help them. Third, when a compulsory insurance scheme is implemented, it is understandable for low-income families to be anxious about whether they can reasonably afford the annual premiums. Since details of the premiums are not yet announced by the Ministry of Health, can the Minister share how and what may be done to address the concerns of these low-income families, as the CareShield Life premium adds on to other schemes like MediShield Life that the individuals have to afford? Fourth, for schemes that look into the long-term needs of individuals, it is judicious for a strong governance process to be established. These bills address several aspects, and Clause 50 seeks to focus on preventing the misuse of funds. However, Clause 20 does indemnify the healthcare institutions or service providers to those with disabilities, wherein they can have access to their patients' funds after providing the service. On this note, I hope more clarity can be offered if any audit process will be instituted to verify the sums discharged by the healthcare institutions or service providers are within affordable range. Also, that their services rendered are duly monitored to ensure that the vulnerables are receiving proper care, especially if the vulnerables do not have the next of kin. Fifth, when the need arises for an assessment of an individual's condition of disabilities, it is stated that the charges will be based on the per type of disability accessed. Will the Ministry then provide the public with a reference cost range for each disability assessment service? And are there any requirements that prevents an individual from being fully assessed by the same doctor for all conditions on the activities of daily living? And lastly, apart from those who are turning 30 and will be automatically enrolled in the CareShield Life scheme, there are Medicars whose age is between 60 to 65 that hope to enroll for CareShield Life as well. Can the Minister provide more information on how the Medicars can enroll for CareShield Life and what are the criteria for them to qualify if they had previously opted out of the ElderShield scheme? Sir, having this long-term care scheme and funds are a progressive step forward in ensuring that our population will have a safety net. It is pertinent that we implement the schemes well and provide reprieve for families who may face untimely and unfortunate health conditions in any of their family members. I look forward to more details on the scheme and clarifications on the points raised. Thank you.